They were born on the same street, under the same broken streetlight, hearing the same sounds of traffic and struggle every night. Yet their relationship with money would grow into two completely different worlds. This is not a story about luck. This is a story about how people think. At the corner of that street lived Amir. Amir grew up hearing one sentence again and again: money is hard to earn. His father said it with tired eyes after long shifts. His mother said it while counting coins before grocery shopping. Slowly, without realizing it, Amir didn't just hear that sentence, he believed it. Money became something heavy in his mind, something that caused stress even before it arrived. When Amir got his first small income, he didn't feel proud. He felt fear. Fear of losing it. Fear of spending it wrong. Fear that it would never come again. Across the street lived Daniel. Daniel's family was not rich either, but the sentence he heard growing up was different. Money is a tool. His parents talked about money like it was something neutral, not good or bad, not scary or magical. When Daniel earned his first money, he didn't ask, how can I protect this? He asked, what can this do? That single question quietly changed everything. Amir saved money like someone hiding food during a famine. He avoided risks. He avoided learning new skills because courses cost money. He avoided opportunities because they felt uncertain. In his mind, money was safety, and safety meant holding on tight. When bills came, Amir felt attacked. When prices increased, he felt powerless. Money controlled his emotions. His mood rose and fell with his bank balance. Daniel looked at money and saw options. When he earned, he split it, some for living, some for learning, some for growing. When bills came, he didn't panic, he calculated. When prices increased, he asked, how can I increase my value? Daniel didn't feel rich, but he felt in control. Money didn't control his emotions, his thinking controlled his money. Amir often said, if I had more money, my life would change. Daniel said, if I change my skills, my money will change. Amir waited for money to save him. Daniel worked on becoming someone money could flow to. Years passed. Amir worked harder, but stayed tired. Daniel worked smarter, but stayed curious. Amir avoided talking about money because it stressed him out. Daniel talked about money to understand it better. Amir believed money was limited. Daniel believed opportunities were unlimited. And here is the painful truth. The difference was never the amount of money they had. It was the story they told themselves about money every single day. Because poor thinking doesn't start in the wallet, it starts in the mind.
The opportunity arrived quietly, almost unnoticed, like most life-changing moments do. A small online business idea started circulating in their city. Nothing glamorous, no guarantees, just a chance to learn a new skill and sell a simple digital service. Amir heard about it first. His friend explained it with excitement, talking about potential, growth, and long-term income. Amir nodded, but his mind immediately searched for danger. How much does it cost to start? He asked. When he heard the number, his heart tightened. He didn't think about what he could gain. He only thought about what he could lose. His inner voice whispered, what if it fails? What if you waste your money? What if this is a scam? By the time his friend finished talking, Amir had already decided no, even though his mouth said, I'll think about it. That night, Amir lay in bed staring at the ceiling. His mind replayed bills, responsibilities, and past failures. He told himself he was being responsible. He told himself he couldn't afford to take risks. Deep down, what he really believed was this: money leaves faster than it comes, so protecting it felt smarter than using it. Daniel heard about the same opportunity the next day. He also asked about cost, but his reaction was different. He didn't feel fear first. He felt curiosity. He asked, what skills will I learn? Who is already doing this? If it doesn't work, what experience will I gain? Daniel understood something Amir didn't. Even if money was lost, learning was never wasted. Daniel didn't have extra cash lying around either. He adjusted, cut small expenses, delayed comfort. He invested with the mindset that this was not a gamble, but tuition for a new level of thinking. Weeks passed. Amir watched from a distance. He saw Daniel struggling at first. Long nights, mistakes, confusion. Amir felt relieved. See, he thought, I saved myself. That relief felt good, but it didn't last. Slowly, Daniel improved. Small wins appeared. First client, then another. Nothing crazy, but something changed. Daniel's confidence grew. Not because of money, but because he proved to himself that he could learn, adapt, and survive uncertainty. Amir stayed where he was. Same routine, same income, same complaints. Every time Daniel mentioned progress, Amir felt uncomfortable. Not because Daniel was doing well, but because it challenged Amir's beliefs. If Daniel could do it, then maybe Amir's fear wasn't wisdom. Maybe it was a cage. Months later, Daniel didn't call the money extra anymore. It became normal. His thinking shifted again. He stopped asking, how much does this cost? And started asking, how much can this return over time? Amir still asked, what if I lose? This is where poor and rich thinking separate completely. Poor thinking focuses on short-term pain. Rich thinking focuses on long-term gain. Poor thinking asks, is this safe? Rich thinking asks, is this smart? Poor thinking protects money. Rich thinking grows money. Amir believed money was the reward. Daniel believed money was the result. Fear has a strange way of turning into urgency. One day, Amir received a message he had been silently dreading. His workplace announced cuts. Fewer hours, same bills, more pressure. The ground under his feet suddenly felt unstable. The safety he had been protecting for years was disappearing anyway. This time, Amir didn't think. He reacted. He remembered Daniel. He remembered the online business. He remembered the money Daniel was making now. And instead of curiosity, Amir felt panic. I have to do something, he told himself. But his mindset had not changed. Only his emotions had. Amir jumped into the first opportunity that promised fast results. No learning curve, no patience, just quick money. He didn't ask about skills. He didn't ask about sustainability. He asked one question only. How fast can I earn? The answer sounded good enough, so he paid. Daniel heard about Amir's move later. He didn't judge. He simply noticed the pattern. Amir was chasing money the same way he had always feared losing it. Emotion first, thinking second. At the beginning, Amir felt hope. New dashboards, big numbers on the screen. Fake confidence returned. He imagined telling people how he finally figured it out, but beneath the surface, nothing was solid. Amir didn't understand the system. He didn't control the process. He depended completely on promises. When problems started, Amir froze. When numbers dropped, he panicked. When support didn't reply, he felt cheated. Within weeks, the money was gone. Not just the investment, the savings he had protected for years, gone. The pain hit deeper than loss. Amir felt ashamed, angry, tired. He didn't tell anyone. He avoided Daniel. He told himself, this is why I never take risks. But the truth was harsher. He didn't fail because he took a risk. He failed because he took a risk without changing how he thinks. Meanwhile, Daniel faced his own problems. Clients left, platforms changed, income dipped. But Daniel didn't panic. He analyzed, he adjusted, he upgraded his skills because his identity was no longer attached to money. It was attached to growth. Here's the difference most people never see. Poor thinking acts only when forced. Rich thinking acts before pressure arrives. Poor thinking jumps from fear to hope to regret. Rich thinking moves from curiosity to learning to mastery. Amir lost money and decided money was evil. Daniel lost money and decided the lesson was valuable. One night, Amir finally messaged Daniel. Not to ask for money, not to ask for shortcuts. He asked a different question, a dangerous one, a powerful one. How do you think differently? Daniel didn't send links. He didn't send strategies. He sent one line. I don't chase money. I build myself until money has no choice but to follow.
That line didn't leave Amir's mind. It echoed during his walks, during his meals, during sleepless nights when the ceiling felt heavier than ever. I build myself until money has no choice but to follow. For the first time, Amir didn't feel attacked by the idea of money. He felt exposed by it. He met Daniel a week later, not to borrow, not to complain, just to listen. Daniel didn't start with motivation. He started with truth. He told Amir how uncomfortable learning felt at the beginning, how stupid he felt asking basic questions, how many times he wanted to quit when nothing worked. I didn't feel confident, Daniel said. I felt committed. Confidence came later. That sentence hurt Amir more than failure ever had. Amir realized he had always waited to feel ready. Ready meant safe. Ready meant guaranteed. Ready meant no embarrassment. And because ready never came, action never happened. Daniel explained how poor thinking sees money as identity. When you lose money, you feel like you lost
trust yourself, he said. That's why fear controls decisions. Rich thinking, on the other hand, separates self-worth from net worth. Money becomes feedback, not judgment. Amir went home and did something he had never done before. He wrote down every belief he had about money. Money is hard. Money disappears. Rich people are lucky. Risk is dangerous. Seeing those sentences on paper made them look smaller, less powerful, like old lies that had been repeated too many times. The next step wasn't investing. It wasn't starting a business. It was learning without expectation. Amir chose a skill. One skill. Something boring. Something practical. Something that didn't promise fast money. At first, progress felt invisible. No praise. No income. Just effort. And for the first time, Amir didn't quit when it felt slow. Weeks passed. Amir noticed something strange. His fear started shrinking. Not because money increased, but because competence did. He began to understand systems, how value is created, why some people earn more without working more hours. His thinking started shifting from survival to strategy. Meanwhile, Daniel continued growing, but not loudly. No flashy lifestyle, no fake success, just consistency. Amir realized rich thinking is quiet. Poor thinking is noisy. Poor thinking complains, blames, and waits. Rich thinking observes, adjusts, and moves. One day, Amir earned his first small income from his new skill. Smaller than his expectations, smaller than his old job. But something was different. He didn't rush to spend it. He didn't cling to it in fear. He looked at it calmly and asked the same question Daniel once asked. What can this do? That moment was the real beginning. Because the truth is, poor people don't stay poor because they lack money. They stay poor because their thinking never upgrades. And rich people don't win because they're smarter. They win because they are willing to be beginners longer than others are willing to try. Amir was still far from rich, but he was no longer poor in his mind. And that shift is where every real transformation starts.
But mindset change is fragile at the beginning. Like a small plant, it can grow or die depending on what surrounds it. As Amir started learning and earning small amounts, new voices appeared. Friends laughed, relatives questioned, "Itna time laga ke itna hi? Job pe focus karo. Ye sab online cheezein scam hoti hai." Every sentence tested him. Old Amir would have stopped immediately. Old Amir would have taken this as proof that he was wrong. But something had shifted. Instead of asking people for approval, Amir started asking himself better questions. Am I improving? Do I understand more than last month? Can I repeat this result? Rich thinking doesn't need applause. It needs progress. Daniel warned him about this phase. This is where most people quit, he said. Not because they fail, but because success looks too small at first. Amir noticed another difference now. Earlier, he counted money daily. Now he counted skills. Earlier, he compared himself to others' income. Now he compared himself to his past version. That alone removed a huge mental burden. One evening, Amir met an old colleague who was still stuck at the same job, same salary, same complaints. The colleague said something familiar. Bhai, paisa hota to sab easy hota. Amir almost smiled. He had said that line his entire life, but now he could see the hidden trap inside it. Waiting for money before growth is like waiting for harvest before planting. Slowly, Amir began reinvesting, not blindly, intentionally. Better tools, better learning, better systems. He stopped asking, how do I save every rupee? And started asking, how do I make this rupee work? That question alone separated him from his old self. Daniel explained leverage. Poor thinking trades time for money, he said. Rich thinking builds systems that earn even when you're not present. Amir finally understood why working harder never worked for him. He had been running faster on the same road instead of changing direction. Months later, Amir's income became stable, not viral, not flashy, but predictable. And predictability brought peace. For the first time, Amir could plan. He could say no to desperation. He could choose opportunities instead of chasing them. The biggest change wasn't financial, it was emotional. Money no longer scared him. Losing money no longer broke him. Gaining money no longer excited him irrationally. Balance replaced chaos. Amir realized something powerful. Poor people see money as the destination. Rich people see money as a byproduct. Poor people ask, how much do I earn? Rich people ask, how much value do I create? Standing under the same streetlight where this story began, again. Amir looked around and understood the final truth. The street never changed. The economy never changed. The world never owed him anything. Only his thinking did. And that is why two people can live on the same street, face the same struggles, and end up in completely different financial realities. Because money doesn't follow effort. Money follows thinking. Yet the story doesn't end with peace, because real growth invites a new test. As Amir's income stabilized, a new danger appeared. Comfort. The same comfort that keeps most people stuck at average forever. Bills were paid, stress was lower, life felt manageable, and a quiet voice whispered, "This is enough." Poor thinking loves enough. Enough feels safe. Enough feels familiar. Enough doesn't demand more growth. Daniel noticed it immediately. "Be careful," he said. "This is the level where people stop upgrading their mindset." Amir didn't understand at first. Why chase more when life finally felt calm? Daniel explained, "Rich thinking is not about greed, it's about responsibility. The more you grow, the more control you have over your time, your family, and your future. Stopping early is still fear, just wearing a comfortable mask." That hit hard. Amir realized something scary. Earlier, fear of losing money stopped him from starting. Now, fear of losing comfort could stop him from expanding. Same fear, different shape. Another opportunity appeared, bigger than before. Required delegation, required systems, required trusting others. Amir felt the old anxiety return, but this time he recognized it. Fear wasn't a stop sign, it was a signal. Poor thinking says, "I'll do it myself. It's safer." Rich thinking says, "I'll build something bigger than myself." Amir remembered how long it took him to escape survival mode. He knew going back would be easier than moving forward. Comfort was tempting. Growth was uncomfortable. He chose growth. He didn't rush. He planned. He calculated downside. He prepared skills before spending money. This time, he wasn't reacting. He was deciding. The transition was messy. Mistakes multiplied. Profits dipped before rising. Amir felt frustrated but not defeated, because now he understood the rule rich people live by. Short-term pain for long-term control. Meanwhile, Amir noticed people around him calling him lucky. That word almost made him laugh. They didn't see the nights of doubt, the months of slow progress, the years of unlearning. Luck was just the excuse poor thinking uses to stay comfortable. One day, Amir visited his parents. The same house, the same street, the same broken streetlight. His father complained about rising expenses. Amir listened quietly. He didn't interrupt. He didn't lecture. He understood something now. You cannot argue someone out of a mindset they survived with. Rich thinking doesn't judge poor thinking. It outgrows it. As Amir left that night, he looked at the streetlight and smiled. Not because he escaped the street, but because the street no longer controlled his future. And here is the final truth most people never accept. Poor people wait for confidence before action. Rich people take action until confidence is forced to appear. Poor people want proof before belief. Rich people believe first, then create proof. Money never changed Amir's life. Thinking did. Years later, the street looked the same, but the energy felt different. Children played under the same broken streetlight, the same traffic sounds echoed at night, the same struggles existed. But inside one house, a different conversation about money was taking place. Amir sat with his young son at the table, not teaching formulas, not talking about getting rich fast. He was teaching something far more powerful, how to think. When his son asked, "Abu, paisa mushkil hota hai?" Amir paused. This was the moment where cycles either repeat or break. He smiled and said, "Paisa mushkil nahi hota, soch mushkil hoti hai." He didn't hide struggle. He didn't pretend life was easy. He explained effort, patience, mistakes, and learning. He taught that money comes from value, that losing money is not failure if learning remains, that fear is normal, but obedience to fear is optional. Across the street, another child grew up hearing the same old sentences Amir once heard. Risk matlo, safe raho, bus job mil jaye. Nothing wrong with survival, but survival was never the destination. It was only the starting line. Daniel once said something Amir never forgot. Rich thinking compounds across generations. Poor thinking repeats. Amir understood now why some families stay stuck for decades while others rise steadily. It was never inheritance. It was instruction. It was language. It was mindset passed quietly at dinner tables, in
car rides, in casual comments about money. Amir never became famous, never chased headlines, never flexed wealth, but he gained something far rarer: control, choice, calm. And the streetlight? It was still broken, but this time it didn't matter, because real wealth was no longer tied to location, economy, or luck. It lived in the way decisions were made, in the questions asked, in the patience to build instead of rush. This is the real difference between poor people and rich people. Not income, not education, not opportunity, but thinking. Change how you think about money, and money will eventually change how it behaves around you. Ignore this, and no amount will ever be enough. The street stays the same, the world stays unfair, but the mind decides the ending.